Hello students, in this video we will discuss about the topic STEM. Okay, already in the previous video we discussed about the root. Now we will discuss about the stem. So a flowering plant will have two systems we discussed already, a root system and the shoot system. And while the root system generally develops from the radicle of the embryo, and the shoot system will develop from the plumule of the embryo. Okay, and don't forget some terms here. The axis of the embryo is called embryonal axis or tigellum. Okay, tigellum is embryonal axis, and it will have a terminal part and the basal part, and this basal part is called radicle, the terminal part is called plumule. While radicle is developing into the root system, the plumule will develop into the shoot system. And plumule is considered as the first bud of the plants. I hope you are understanding. Plumule is considered as the first bud of the plants. And of course, we know this fact that the root system will grow downwards, so that is a descending organ, while stem will grow in upward direction, so it is an ascending organ. So let us discuss the three aspects in this topic of the stem, that is general characters of the stem, functions of the stem, and modifications of the stem. General characters of the stem, functions of the stem, and modifications of stem. First, let us see the general characters. As already we have come to know that the stem is growing in upward direction, so it is an ascending organ. Okay, so that means it is growing towards the light, so it is positively phototropic and negatively geotropic. I hope understanding it is quite opposite to the root. Root was positively geotropic and negatively phototropic, while stem is positively phototropic and positively phototropic and negatively geotropic. That's why it is uh, described as what? Ascending organ. Root is descending organ. Okay. Now, the second one, from where this stem or the shoot system originates. Okay, the shoot system originates from plumule of the embryo. Plumule of the embryo. Already I told you about what is plumule, what is radicle. Okay. And what more differences you will find between the root and the stem? Okay. In the general characters of the root, already we discussed that you won't find any nodes and internodes in the roots, but the stem will have, it bears nodes and internodes. Nodes and internodes. Now let us see what is node. The place where leaf originates is called node. The place where leaves originate is called node. So we know that the root won't produce any leaves. That's why leaves are absent as well as nodes are absent. And then what about the internodes? The gap between two successive nodes. The gap between two successive nodes. Suppose let us say this is stem, and here there is one leaf, and here there is another leaf. These are called what? Successive node. Okay, this place is called what? Node. Node. This is another node. The place between two successive nodes is called internode. Internode. So as leaves are absent, so no nodes are absent, and as nodes are absent, internodes are absent in roots. But as leaves are present, so nodes are present, internodes are present. That is very important differentiating character. And now on the stem you will find some buds. What are these buds? Bud is a condensed axis bearing meristematic tissue bearing meristematic tissue protected by young leaves is called a bud. And remember, we come across with the two types of birds in stems. Okay, what are those two types of birds we see in stem? You will find some birds that are present at the tips of the stem and the tips of branches, and they are called terminal birds or apical birds. Terminal bird or apical birds. And in the axils of the leaves, you will find some birds. And the birds which are present in the axils of the leaves are called axillary birds or lateral birds. You have to remember these alternate names so that you will not get confused. So, what is the other name of terminal bird? Apical bird. And what is the other name of axillary bird? Lateral birds. Generally, during vegetative phase, both these birds will help in vegetative growth of the plant. Means what is vegetative growth? Growth of vegetative organs. What are vegetative organs? Okay, root to stem leaves are vegetative organs. So the terminal bird, which is present at the tip of the stem, that is the main axis of the shoot system, is called as stem. Okay, and it will help in the growth of this stem because it has meristematic tissue. And what meristem is present in this bird? Sam. What is Sam? Shoot apical meristem. Shoot apical meristem. I hope we saw ram in the case of root system. What was that ram? Root apical meristem. So I hope you understand root apical meristem is also with roots and shoot apical meristem is also with the stems. Okay, and so this terminal bird helps in the growth of the stem during vegetative phase. And now, what is this axillary bird? So remember, this is the leaf, and this is upper surface of the leaf, and here there is an angle. So this upper angle between the leaf and the stem is called axil. This upper angle between the leaf and the stem is called axil, and the bud that is present in the axil of the leaf is called axillary bud. I hope you're understanding. Every leaf will have an axil, and in every axil you will find an axillary bird. So now let us say what is the function of this axillary bird. The axillary birds during vegetative phase will develop into branches. That's why, what is the other name of axillary bird? Lateral bird. So that's why when this axillary bird grows into a branch, the branches are also called as what? Lateral branches. Okay, so that is the function of these birds during vegetative phase. Then what about the reproductive phase? On maturity, the plant starts producing reproductive organs, which are nothing but flowers. So, at the time of reproduction, this axillary bird may develop into a flower. Or in some other plants, terminal bird will develop into the flower. Not both of them. Either axillary bird or terminal bird. That depends on the plant. In some plants, axillary birds will become flowers, and in some plants, the terminal birds will become flowers. Then what other bird is doing? Other bird will take rest during that reproductive phase. Okay, so like that you will find these birds. Then let us discuss about the color of the stem. And we want that these the stems will can be differentiated based on their age, as what young stem and the old stem. Okay, means what younger part and the older part. And if you look at the younger part, generally the young branches are called twigs, and the older branches are called boughs. And these twigs, if you take into your hand, you will find what color to that young stem? Green color. Okay, and whereas the older stems will have brown color, because the young stems will have primary tissues, whereas old stems will have secondary tissues. That's why you will find this variation in their color. Now, that is about the general characters, and now let us discuss about these functions of the stem. And if you uh, consider this main axis of the shoot system as the stem, okay, then what functions this stem is performing? Okay, and you know that all the branches are spread out by the stem. It is distributing all branches in all directions to get sufficient light. And this arrangement is also to avoid overlapping of the branches. Okay, so that is what the main function of the stem, spreading out the branches, bearing leaves, flowers, fruits. Now the next one, you know that the main photosynthetic organ of the plants is leaves. The main photosynthetic organ of the plant is leaf, and the stem is having so many branches, and over all these branches there are many leaves, and all leaves are performing what? Photosynthesis and prepare food material. And this food material is translocated to different parts, especially the part which is unable to synthesize any food, that is what? Root system. So, with the help of that vascular tissue, that is phloem, will conduct this food material to the roots. So, means what? From the branches, the food material will move into the stem, and from the stem, the food material will move downwards into the root. That is called conduction. These are the functions, general functions of the stem. Then we will discuss about the modifications, And first of all, let us say what is the modification. A permanent change, I hope you understand, it is permanent change, not temporary change. A permanent change in the structure of an organ to perform a special function is called what? Modification. Of course, here uh, we can classify these modifications into three types: underground stem modifications, subaerial stem modifications, and aerial stem modifications. Before discussing them in detail, just remember these different types which we are going to discuss. Under underground stem modification, you will find the examples like grasses and strawberry, which will move from one place to other place or one niche to other niche and help in the propagation. That is called sobols. And you will find another underground stem modification, that is rhizome. And rhizomes are present in ginger and turmeric. But of course, I am adding one more example here, but don't get confused. We discussed about that. Banana plant is also has a rhizome and a corn. And the examples are Zeminkand and Colocasia and the stem tuber. And we are familiar with this potato and the subaerial modifications. Okay, this terminology is not there, but I wrote some terms here: stolons, and the examples for stolons are mint and jasmine, suckers, chrysanthemum, pineapple, banana. So banana I wrote twice. So banana will have rhizome as well as suckers, and the details we will discuss later. And offsets you will find in these free floating hydrophytes like pistia and eichhornia. And among aerial modifications, we will discuss about tendrils, and the examples are gourds and grapevine. And we will discuss about the thorns, and the examples are bougainvillea and citrus. Phylloclades, that is what the examples are opuntia and euphorbia. And you just note down all these okay details. Then we will discuss them in detail later.